Think about it. How many times did you feel like you wouldn't make it, and yet you did? How many times did you think the storm would drown you, but you came out stronger? How many times did you think you were finished, and yet you rose again? Every survival is a testimony that multiplies your authority, and every testimony is a sword in your hand. A reminder that demons cannot defeat someone favored by God, and this is why your words carry such weight. You may not always realize it, but when you speak, things shift. Your prayers are not ordinary. Your declarations carry power. Demons know this, which is why they try to silence you through discouragement, through distraction, through exhaustion. They fear your voice because your voice echoes with the authority of heaven. That's why even your whispers terrify them. Even your quiet prayers shake their grip. Even your unspoken groans, lifted to God, become thunder in the spirit realm. Chosen one, don't underestimate yourself. You may see weakness, but heaven sees favor. You may see scars, but heaven sees survival. You may see brokenness, but heaven sees authority. Demons see it too, and that's why they can't touch your destiny. They can press against you, but they cannot cross the line God has drawn round you. And here's what makes you most dangerous. Of all, you're still becoming. What you carry now is only the beginning. The fire in you is growing. The authority in you is deepening. The wisdom in you is expanding. Demons know they are fighting a version of you that is still unfolding. If you are this powerful now, imagine who you will be when God finishes His work in you. That future terrifies them because they know every passing season only reveals more of the glory hidden inside you. So, chosen one, walk boldly. You are not fragile, not forgotten, not unprotected. You are surrounded by favor. Angels move at your prayers. Heaven backs your words. God Himself walks with you. And though demons may try to disguise themselves as obstacles, delays, or betrayals, their plans always fail. Why? Because favor has the final say. You are marked. You are chosen. You are favored. And no demon in hell can undo what God has sealed. That is your truth. That is your reality. And that is why they fear you. Chosen one, I want you to really pause and let this sink in. The reason demons fear you is not because of what you've done, not because of your own strength, not because of some outward achievement, but because of what God has placed within you. You are carrying eternity inside of time. You are carrying heaven's breath in an earthly vessel. You are carrying divine fire in fragile clay. And demons know that what God places, no man, no spirit, no power of darkness can remove. That's why they tremble when you rise, why they scatter when you pray, why they whisper when your name is mentioned. They know who you are, even when you forget. And here is the deeper truth. God's favor on your life is not a suggestion. It is not optional. It is a decree. When God says, "This one is mine," every spirit in the unseen realm must obey. When He says, "This one is covered," no weapon formed against you can prosper. When He declares, "This one is chosen," not even your own mistakes can cancel His word. That is the immovable truth of favor. Demons know it, but they don't want you to. They thrive on deception, on making you doubt, on whispering lies into your spirit that sound like your own thoughts. They will tell you you're weak. But heaven says, "You are strong in your weakness, for my power is made perfect in you." They will tell you you're alone. But heaven says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." They will tell you you are unworthy. But heaven says, "You are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, set apart for my glory." Do you see? Every lie of hell is meant to distract you from the unshakable truth of God's favor. But when you know the truth makes you free. And that freedom is terrifying to demons. You may not realize it, but every time you resist the lie and choose to believe God's word instead, you are breaking chains not just off yourself, but off others. Your faith is contagious. Your resilience inspires. Your survival gives others permission to hope. And that ripple effect, chosen one, is what hell fears. Because you are not just living for yourself, you are carrying light for countless others who are watching, even silently, even from a distance. Some of them may never tell you, but your walk is proof that God is real. And that is why demons cannot stand you. Think about the moments you almost quit. Think about the times you almost gave in. Think about the battles no one else knew you were fighting. And yet here you are, listening to these words, still breathing, still chosen, still favored. That survival alone is proof that your story is not over. The fact that you are still here is evidence that God's hand is still upon you. And that is why demons rage, because they tried, they pushed, they whispered, they attacked, but you did not break. Instead, you grew stronger. And let me tell you this, your next season is going to expose every lie of the enemy. Everything that was hidden in the dark will be revealed in the light. Every weapon formed against you will be turned into fuel for your purpose. Every loss you've endured will be redeemed with glory greater than you can imagine. This is not the end for you. It's the unfolding of a greater beginning. Demons know it. That's why the warfare has been so intense. That's why the pressure has felt unbearable. That's why the isolation has been deep. Because right before God elevates you, the enemy throws his loudest tantrum. But tantrums are not victories. Noise is not power. And the devil has already lost. What you carry inside of you is eternal. Favor is not seasonal, it's eternal. Demons can attack your circumstances, but they cannot touch your core. They can press on your finances, your relationships, your health, your emotions, but they cannot remove God's hand from your spirit. And that's what makes you dangerous. You are unshakable at the root. Even if the branches bend, even if the leaves fall, the root is still alive. That root is God's favor, and it cannot die. So here is the charge for you, chosen one. Stop walking small. Stop doubting the power inside of you. Stop letting demons write the narrative of your life. You are not a victim, you are a vessel. You are not cursed, you are covered. You are not forgotten, you are favored. And when you begin to walk with that awareness, when you lift your head and step forward with confidence, darkness cannot stand in your way. You don't even need to fight in your own strength, because the battle is the Lord's. All you need to do is stand in faith, open your mouth in prayer, and carry the authority you've already been given. Demons know they cannot touch your destiny. That's why they try to distract you, to confuse you, to make you weary. But chosen one, this is your reminder. Don't faint. Don't give in. Don't trade your crown for temporary relief. Because your destiny is too important, your calling too great, your assignment too urgent. Heaven is counting on you. The world is waiting for you. And no power of darkness can stop what God has started in you. So rise, stand tall, pray with boldness, walk with authority, declare with confidence, live as if you are chosen, because you are, and let the demons tremble. Let them scatter, let them rage. It doesn't matter, they cannot win. You are already victorious, and now I want you to take one final step with me. If this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of who you are, if it stirred something deep inside of you that the enemy has tried to bury, then I need you to do this. Subscribe right now. Not because it's just another channel, but because this space is for chosen ones like you. This is your tribe, your community, your reminder that you are not alone. By subscribing, you're declaring to heaven, to earth, and to hell itself that you are chosen, you are favored, and you are ready to rise. This is your moment, chosen one. Step into it. Chosen one, let me speak directly to the part of you that has always felt different, the part that never blended in, no matter how much you tried. You've carried a weight in your spirit for as long as you can remember, a sense that you were born for something bigger, something unseen, something eternal. And though the world may not fully understand it, the spiritual realm has never been confused about you. That's why demons fear you. That's why the battles in your life have always been heavier than others, because they see what's inside. You, a divine calling that heaven placed before you, were even formed in your mother's womb. Every chosen one feels the tension between invisibility and exposure. In the natural, you may feel overlooked, rejected, dismissed. But in the spirit, you glow like a torch in the night. Demons recognize that glow instantly. You might not see it in the mirror, but they do. That's why you've been attacked since childhood. That's why people who don't even know you sometimes treat you with hostility or envy. It's not about your personality or appearance. It's about your calling. They sense the authority you carry, even when you don't think about it. How many times have you been in environments where people couldn't quite figure you out? They may smile to your face, but deep down, they're unsettled. They gossip, they misjudge, they even betray. But the truth is, their reaction is spiritual, not personal. Darkness recognizes when someone is carrying light, and it cannot sit comfortably. In that presence, you, chosen one, have been marked by heaven. That mark is invisible to human eyes, but in the unseen it is undeniable. Demons fear it because they know what it means. You are not ordinary. You are dangerous to their plans. That's why your life has not been easy. That's why trials have felt unrelenting. The enemy knows if you ever fully step into your divine calling, chains will break, strongholds will fall, and lives will be transformed through your obedience. So what does he do? He tries to stop you before you start. He tries to convince you that you're unworthy, that you're broken, that you're disqualified. He sends distractions, counterfeit opportunities, toxic relationships, anything to dim the fire burning within you. But here's the truth: the enemy can't erase what God has placed inside of you. Cannot be removed. The call of God is irrevocable. Even if you run, even if you stumble, even if you doubt, the calling remains. And that's why demons fear you. They fear not only what you carry, but who you belong to. They know the authority backing you. They know your words hold weight in the spirit when you pray, when you declare, when you worship. They tremble because they know that when you walk into alignment with heaven, their schemes unravel. It's not just about you surviving, it's about you realizing that you are a warrior. You were chosen to shift atmospheres, to intercede for others, to break generational curses, to walk boldly in purpose that extends beyond yourself. Maybe you've wondered why isolation has been such a big theme in your life. Why friends drifted away, why relationships crumbled, why people misunderstood you. Chosen one, it's because your calling requires clarity. God has been protecting you from voices that would dilute your destiny. He has been pruning your circle so that you would learn to hear His voice above all others. Isolation is not punishment. It is preparation. You were never meant to blend in with the crowd. You were meant to stand out, to stand apart, to carry something that the world cannot fabricate. And listen, demons know you're still in training, but they fear the day you awaken fully. That's why the warfare intensifies whenever you get closer to breakthrough. Think back. How many times have you felt the heaviest opposition right before a door opened? How many times did the enemy try to wear you out right before God elevated you? That's not coincidence. That's strategy. The devil cannot stop your calling, but he can try to make you quit early. He can try to blind you to the truth of what's inside you. But chosen one, if you are hearing this right now, it's because God is pulling back the veil. He's reminding you that you are not who the world says you are. You are not even who you think you are. You are who He says you are. Chosen, set apart, and marked with a holy purpose. There is fire inside you that you didn't put there. There is resilience inside you that you didn't manufacture. There is wisdom in you that came through suffering, through nights of tears, through valleys so deep others would have drowned. And yet you rose. You rose because favor has always followed you. You rose because your calling wouldn't let you die in the place the enemy left you. You rose because what's inside you is greater than what's around you. And that rising is what demons cannot stand. Chosen one, let this be your awakening. The battles you've faced have not been random, they've been targeted. The pain you've endured was not meaningless, it was purposeful. The rejection you've experienced was not abandonment, it was redirection. Every detail of your life has been shaping you into the vessel you were created to be. And when you finally embrace that truth, demons know the game is over. Because a chosen one who knows who they are is unstoppable. So hear me, stop doubting your worth. Stop questioning your identity. Stop apologizing for the weight you carry. What's inside you is not a mistake. It is divine calling. It is sacred. Fire, it is heavenly authority. And the reason hell has tried to silence you is because your voice carries the power to set captives free. You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. All you have to do is walk in it. And as you do, remember this. Demons don't fear what you own, what you wear, or what title you hold. They fear what's inside you, the Spirit of God, the favor of heaven, the calling that cannot be revoked. That's why they tremble when you pray. That's why they scatter when you stand. That's why they plot against you but fail every time. You are not unprotected. You are not forgotten. You are chosen, and that divine calling will carry you further than you can imagine. This is only the beginning of your awakening. The story of your life is still unfolding, and the best part is yet to come. The enemy already knows it. That's why the pressure has been great. But chosen one, pressure produces power. And soon, you will see why you are marked from the very beginning. Chosen one, let's go deeper. If demons fear what's inside you, then you must ask yourself this question. Why has your life always been marked by conflict? Why have you walked through storms that others around you never seemed to face? The answer is simple but profound. The enemy only wages war against what threatens his kingdom. And you, chosen one, are a direct threat. Think back over your life. How many times did you feel the weight of despair so heavy you didn't think you would make it? How many moments did the enemy whisper in your ear that giving up would be easier than fighting on? Those were not random thoughts, they were spiritual strategies. The devil recognized early what was planted inside you, and his plan has always been to snuff it out before it grows into full flame. But here's the paradox. Every attack you endured actually became fuel for the very fire he feared. Every betrayal pushed you closer to discernment. Every rejection pushed you deeper into reliance on God. Every heartbreak stripped away what was false and made you cling to what is eternal. Demons wanted to destroy you, but they only revealed you. They exposed the unshakable core of your soul, the part of you that refuses to bow to darkness. You see, chosen ones don't just carry potential, they carry destiny, and destiny is like a beacon in the unseen realm. The moment you were born, angels celebrated and hell trembled. That's why, even as a child, you may have felt misunderstood, even attacked by forces you couldn't explain. Children of destiny often carry unusual burdens, early battles with identity, loneliness, spiritual sensitivity that made you different. Maybe you cried at night without knowing why. Maybe you sensed presences others couldn't. Maybe you had dreams that felt more real than life itself. That was not imagination. That was evidence of the spiritual realm already moving around your calling. The devil knows something many chosen ones forget. Calling comes with covering. And no matter how fierce his attacks, he cannot override the hand of God on your life. That's why you're still here. That's why every scheme he launched failed. In the end, because there is a hedge around you that hell cannot penetrate. The enemy may bruise you, but he cannot break you. He may delay you, but he cannot destroy you. The very fact that you are still standing today is proof that your calling is stronger than every weapon formed against you. But chosen one, you must also understand this. The enemy doesn't just fear what's inside you, he fears the moment you realize it. Because until then, you're dangerous but unaware. It's like carrying a sword but not knowing how to use it. You may walk through life wondering why the world resists you, why friendships collapse, why doors close in your face. But the truth is, your life has been strategically pruned. God has been shaping you in silence, training you in wilderness seasons, teaching you how to rely not on applause, but on his voice alone. That's why demons intensify the pressure when you get close to breakthrough. Have you noticed it? Right before a major blessing, chaos breaks loose. Right before God opens a door, everything in your life seems to shake. That's not coincidence. That's resistance. The enemy tries to exhaust you in the waiting so that you won't have the strength to walk through the door when it opens. But chosen one, you must hold on. Because what's on the other side of that warfare is not just for you. It's for everyone connected to your calling. Understand this, chosen ones don't live for themselves alone. Your life is an assignment. Your testimony will free others. Your breakthrough will ripple into families, communities, generations. That's why demons fear you. Because when you walk in obedience, chains don't just fall off of you, they fall off of those around you. You are a carrier of freedom. And freedom is the one thing the enemy cannot tolerate. That's why he tries to silence your voice. He knows your words carry authority. That's why he tries to fill your mind with lies. Lies of unworthiness, lies of shame, lies of fear. If he can get you to doubt your identity, he can keep you from stepping into destiny. But here's the secret. The enemy's lies only work if you believe them. When you begin to declare truth, that you are chosen, that you are covered, that you are called, his grip breaks. Demons flee not because of who you are in yourself, but because of the one who lives inside you, chosen one. I need you to pause and recognize something. You've survived things others would have crumbled under. You've endured storms that should have broken you. You've carried pain that should have hardened your heart, yet somehow your heart is still soft. That is not weakness, That is evidence of divine strength. The fire in you is holy, and it refuses to be extinguished. Demons fear that resilience because it proves they cannot win. But don't miss this. The trials you faced weren't just about testing you, they were about preparing you. How can you intercede for the broken if you've never been broken? How can you speak life into despair if you've never wrestled with despair yourself? How can you lead others out of chains if you've never fought in chains yourself? Every scar on your soul carries wisdom. Every tear carries power. You were not crushed, you were carved. You were shaped into a vessel strong enough to hold the weight of your assignment, and chosen one. Your assignment is greater than your comfort. That's why life has stretched you. That's why you've been through seasons that stripped you bare. Because you are being prepared to carry glory. Not the kind of glory the world chases, fame, wealth, recognition, but the kind of glory that shifts eternity. You are not called to blend into darkness. You are called to stand as a light that cannot be hidden. So when demons rise up, when attacks increase, when nights grow darker, don't forget this. They're trembling. Not because you are weak, but because you are awakening. They sense the shift before you see it. They know the breaking of dawn before you feel it. And they panic because they know your calling is unfolding right before their eyes. You may not see the full picture yet, but heaven does. And hell does too. And that is why you must hold your ground. Because chosen one, you carry something that cannot be bought, cannot be duplicated, cannot be stolen. You carry a divine calling, and the more you embrace it, the more powerless demons become around you. Chosen one, now that you understand why demons fear you, it's time to uncover how your divine calling begins to activate. Because being chosen is not just about surviving attacks. It's about stepping into the authority that was yours all along. And here's the truth. The enemy doesn't just fear your potential. He fears the moment you realize you are already walking in it. You see, calling is not something you chase. It's something you carry. From the very moment God formed you, the blueprint of your life was already set. Heaven had already written your name into its eternal story. That's why when you try to live like everyone else, it never works. When others fit into the crowd, you always feel out of place. When others can compromise and still feel fine, you feel conviction. That's because your spirit has been marked, and marked souls cannot blend in with the world. But here's the problem. Most chosen ones spend years unaware of what they carry. They live through storm after storm, wondering why life feels harder for them, why people turn against them, why doors shut, why loneliness surrounds them. Yet all along, the answer is simple. The resistance is proof of the calling. Hell only fights what heaven has favored, and chosen one, your favor is not ordinary, it's dangerous. Not dangerous to you, dangerous to darkness. Because when you awaken, when you begin to walk in alignment with the voice of God, everything around you begins to shift. Environments change, chains break, hidden things are exposed, demons tremble. Not because of you alone, but because of the holy fire burning within you. Think about this. When Jesus walked into a place, demons often screamed out before he even spoke. They recognized his authority before he opened his mouth. And in the same way, when you step into alignment with God, the spirit realm recognizes it. Have you noticed how sometimes people react strangely to you without reason? How certain environments grow tense when you arrive? How some people feel uncomfortable or even hostile in your presence, even though you've done nothing? That's not just people, that's spirits reacting. The light in you exposes the darkness in them, and they cannot stand it. But here's where your calling becomes dangerous to the enemy. When you not only carry that light, but when you use it. You see, demons don't just fear your presence, they fear your voice. They fear the moment you start to speak life into dead places, to pray with boldness, to intercede for others, to declare truth where lies have reigned. Because words spoken with authority from a chosen vessel shake the unseen realm. Heaven backs your declarations. Angels move when you speak in alignment with God's will. The enemy knows this, which is why he tries so hard to silence you with fear, with doubt, with shame. How many times have you felt the urge to speak, but fear held you back? How many times did you want to step forward, but lies of unworthiness chained your feet? That's not weakness, that's warfare. The enemy knows, if he can silence your voice, he can mute your assignment. But chosen one, you were never called to be silent. You were called to roar. And here's the beauty of it. You don't have to manufacture the authority. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having it all together. Authority flows, not from who you are, but from who you belong to. When you speak, it's not just your voice, it's heaven echoing through you. And demons cannot withstand that. They must bow, they must flee, they must release their grip. That's why chosen ones often experience heavy attacks in their minds. Because if the enemy can convince you that you're powerless, he knows you'll never pick up the weapons already in your hand. But chosen one, the truth is, you are already armed. You've been given weapons that darkness cannot disarm. Prayer, worship, fasting, the word of God, the authority of Jesus' name. These are not abstract ideas. They are spiritual tools, sharper than any blade. And when you use them, the atmosphere shifts. Think of prayer not as a ritual, but as a strike. Every time you pray with faith, you are striking at strongholds. Every time you worship, you are disarming the enemy's schemes. Every time you declare scripture, you are swinging the sword of the Spirit. And here's the secret. Demons know. They can't withstand it. That's why they try to distract you, to weary you, to keep you silent. They know if you ever realize the power you have, they lose their grip completely. But chosen one, the time has come to awaken. You cannot afford to keep living unaware of your fire. You cannot shrink back because of fear. You cannot dim your light to make others comfortable. You were not born for comfort. You were born for conquest. You carry the fire of God, and it was never meant to stay hidden. Have you noticed how life seems to push you? How seasons force you to grow even when you resist? That's not punishment, that's preparation. God is pushing you into places you didn't know you could stand in. He's stretching your capacity because your calling requires more than a casual faith. It requires boldness, resilience, surrender. Demons fear chosen ones, not just because of what they carry, but because chosen ones never give up. You may fall, but you rise again. You may weep, but you keep moving. That persistence terrifies the enemy because it means he cannot stop you. He can only delay you. And chosen one, delays are not denials. Every setback you've faced has been a setup for elevation. Every season of isolation has been training. Every battle has been sharpening your discernment. You've been learning how to hear the voice of God, how to recognize deception, how to carry authority without arrogance. And now you're being positioned. That's why demons grow restless around you. They sense the activation before you see it. They know you're stepping into alignment. And they fear it, because once you do, the fire inside you becomes unstoppable. You will not just survive attacks, you will dismantle them. You will not just walk through storms, you will calm them. You will not just resist darkness, you will drive it out. Chosen one, listen closely. Your calling is not just about you. It's about every soul your life will impact. It's about the legacy of light you will leave behind. It's about the ripple effect of your obedience. When you rise, others rise. When you pray, chains fall off entire families. When you walk in your assignment, territories shift. And that's why demons fear you, because they know your life carries exponential impact. So don't shrink, don't silence your fire. Don't let their fear trick you into fearing yourself. Stand tall, speak boldly, pray relentlessly, worship without hesitation. Because every time you do, you activate your calling, and hell loses ground. You, chosen one, are not ordinary. You carry divine fire, and that fire was meant to blaze. Demons know it, heaven knows it, and it's time that you know it too. Chosen one, it is one thing to awaken to your divine fire, but it is another to sustain it. Because once you realize what you carry, the enemy shifts his tactics. Before, he fought to keep you ignorant of your calling, but once that fails, his only option is to try and smother your flame. He cannot remove what God has placed in you, but he can attempt to distract, discourage, and drain you so that you never fully operate at your peak. That's why this stage of your journey is critical. Sustaining your fire is what ensures you remain unstoppable. The first thing you need to know is that fire requires fuel. No flame, no matter how bright, can survive without being fed. And the fire inside you is no different. It is divine, yes, but it still needs to be nurtured. How do you nurture it? Through intimacy with God. Prayer is oxygen for your fire. Worship is the oil that keeps it burning. The Word of God is the wood that sustains it. When you neglect these, you feel the flame grow dim. That's when weariness sets in, when doubt begins to creep, when old habits try to resurface. But when you stay close to the source, your fire becomes untouchable. Have you noticed how the enemy tries hardest to keep you from praying? How distractions suddenly arise every time you want to worship? How tired or restless you feel when you try to study the Word? That's no accident. Demons understand that as long as you keep fueling your fire, they cannot stop you. So they launch subtle attacks to draw you away from your source. They'll use busyness, emotional turmoil, endless scrolling, toxic relationships, anything to pull your focus. Because they know your fire is your greatest weapon. But here's what they underestimate. Chosen ones thrive in opposition. The very attacks sent to distract you often become the reason you pray harder. The storms sent to drown you often teach you how to walk on water. The pain meant to silence you often makes your roar louder. That's the beauty of divine calling. Everything the enemy uses for evil, God flips for good. And your fire, chosen one, only grows stronger the more it is tested. Think about this. The hottest flames are not born in comfort, but under pressure. Gold is refined in fire. Diamonds are formed under immense pressure. And in the same way, your calling is refined in seasons of trial. Every tear, every disappointment, every betrayal has only made your fire purer. Demons fear you not just because of what you carry, but because you refuse to let the fire die. Even in your darkest hours, something in you refuses to give up. That stubborn persistence is divine. But here's the secret. Sustaining your fire also requires discernment. Because not everyone around you is meant to be near your flame. Some people will drain you. Some environments will smother you. Some connections are designed to quench your fire. And chosen one, part of sustaining your calling means learning to guard your space. You cannot afford to let just anyone into your inner circle. Not everyone can handle your fire, and not everyone is meant to walk with you. That's why God often separates chosen ones. Loneliness is not punishment, it's preservation. If your fire is surrounded by the wrong crowd, it will be diminished. But when you learn to embrace solitude with God, your fire intensifies. Demons hate this because they cannot manipulate a soul that is content in divine presence. They thrive in noise, in crowds, in distraction. But when you dwell in stillness, you become untouchable. Another way the enemy tries to dim your fire is through weariness. Have you ever felt spiritually exhausted, like you're burning out? That's because your fire is powerful, but your human vessel still has limits. Sustaining your calling means learning balance. Even Jesus withdrew to pray, to rest, to recharge. Chosen one, you cannot pour endlessly without being refilled. That's why seasons of retreat are not weakness, they're strategy. When you pull back to strengthen your spirit, you return with fire demons cannot withstand. But perhaps the most important truth about sustaining your fire is this: your fire was never meant to stay just inside you. It was meant to spread. A flame that only burns inward eventually consumes itself, but a flame that spreads outward ignites revival. That's why chosen ones are called not just to survive, but to impact. When you encourage someone, you spread the flame. When you pray for someone else, you spread the flame. When you live boldly in your faith, you spread the flame. And the more you spread it, the harder it is for darkness to put it out. This is why demons tremble when you step fully into your calling, because they know it's no longer just about you. Your fire begins to ignite others. You inspire people to rise. You awaken people who have been spiritually asleep. You bring healing to those bound by chains. Your fire becomes contagious, and darkness cannot contain it. That's why the enemy fights so hard to isolate chosen ones, because once your fire touches another soul, it multiplies. Chosen one, sustaining your fire is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You will stumble, yes. You will have days where you feel weak, yes. But remember, the flame in you was lit by God Himself, and demons cannot extinguish it. Your role is simply to keep it fed, to guard it, to spread it, and as you do, it will become a wildfire that hell itself cannot quench. So do not fear when attacks come. Do not despair when the enemy whispers lies. Do not think your fire is too small. Even a spark, when nurtured, can set a forest ablaze. And you, chosen one, are carrying far more than a spark. You carry holy fire, a fire that heals, that delivers, that breaks chains, a fire that demons fear with everything in them. The truth is this: the more you nurture your fire, the less power demons have over you. They can roar, but they cannot consume you. They can attack, but they cannot win. They can surround you, but they cannot touch what God has sealed. Your fire is eternal, chosen one, and it burns with the authority of heaven and now. It's your responsibility to keep it burning. Pray daily, not out of duty, but out of hunger. Worship boldly, even in your weakest moments. Immerse yourself in the Word until it becomes the language of your spirit. Guard your circle. Rest when you must. And above all, keep spreading the flame. Because the truth is simple. The more you burn, the more demons scatter. Your divine calling was never meant to flicker. It was meant to blaze. And chosen one, As long as you guard your fire, nothing in hell can extinguish it. That is why demons fear you, because the flame inside you is a threat to everything they stand for. And once it burns at full strength, there's no darkness that can withstand it. Chosen one. By now you've seen how your inner fire is sustained, how it grows under pressure, and how demons attempt to dim it but cannot succeed. But here's where your journey takes an even more profound turn. Your fire is no longer something hidden inside. It begins to manifest outwardly. It begins to shape the atmosphere around you, influence the people near you, and release authority that cannot be explained in human terms. This is the stage where chosen ones move from carrying hidden power to walking in visible authority. And this is where demons tremble the most. Authority is different from power. Power is what you carry inside. Authority is what happens when you use it. Power is potential. Authority is demonstration. And chosen one, you were never meant to just carry potential. You were designed to exercise authority. That means speaking with boldness, moving with confidence, and declaring truth with the assurance that heaven backs your words. It's when you walk into a room and the very atmosphere shifts. It's when you pray and chains break. It's when you speak and demons scatter. You've probably felt this without even realizing it. Have you noticed how people sometimes go silent when you enter a space? How conversations shift? How certain people suddenly become uncomfortable in your presence? That's not about you as a person. That's the authority radiating through you. Demons inside others recognize the divine authority in you, even if the people themselves cannot explain why they feel uneasy. This is why some avoid you, why others suddenly become hostile without reason, why jealousy arises where you expected support. They are responding not to your personality, but to your authority. And here's the truth. The more you embrace your authority, the more opposition you'll face. Demons hate it when chosen ones stop hiding. When you begin to speak with boldness, they panic. When you begin to act on faith, they shake. When you stop second-guessing your worth and start walking as the child of God you are, hell itself takes notice. Because authority is not something demons can ignore. They can try to resist power, but they cannot resist authority that flows from heaven. Authority is what Jesus walked in. Demons didn't just fear his power, they submitted to his authority. When he spoke, they obeyed. When he commanded, they fled. And chosen one, that same authority has been placed inside you. Not because of anything you've earned, but because heaven has marked you. When you speak in alignment with God's word, your voice carries the weight of heaven's throne. That's why prayers you whisper in private shake things in the unseen. That's why declarations you make, even casually, begin to manifest. That's why some doors open when you arrive, and others slam shut, because your authority activates the spiritual realm. But chosen one, here is where discernment becomes vital. Authority must be exercised with wisdom. The enemy will try to bait you into misusing it, speaking carelessly, moving recklessly, or fighting battles that God never assigned you to. Authority is not about ego or proving yourself. It's about obedience. When you align your authority with God's will, it becomes unstoppable. But when you act outside of divine instruction, you risk draining yourself. Demons cannot strip you of authority, but they can lure you into wasting it. That's why humility is the guardrail for authority. The more you submit to God, the more powerful your authority becomes. As you step into outward authority, chosen one, understand this. You are now a walking disruption to darkness. Your presence alone unsettles the atmosphere. Your prayers dismantle demonic assignments. Your words carry creative force. And this is why you may have noticed your life feels like a constant battle. Demons target those who threaten their kingdom. If you felt under relentless attack, it's because your authority terrifies them. You've become too dangerous to ignore. But do not be discouraged. This is proof of who you are. You're not just surviving attacks, you're provoking them because of the authority you carry. Demons fear exposure, and your authority exposes them. That's why you often feel misunderstood, rejected, or even targeted by people you've done nothing to. Spirit inside you agitates the spirits inside them. It's not personal, it's spiritual. So how do you live fully in this authority? First, by speaking boldly. Don't silence your voice out of fear of offending people. Truth spoken in authority pierces through deception. When you declare freedom over your life, demons cannot hold you. When you speak life into someone else, chains begin to break. Your words are not ordinary, they are weapons. Second, live with confidence. Authority is not about arrogance, but about certainty. Walk into rooms as if you belong, because heaven has already given you access. Demons prey on insecurity, but they cannot withstand confidence rooted in divine identity. Finally, use your authority to serve, not just to shine. Authority becomes unstoppable when it's used to lift others. Pray for those around you. Intercede for your family. Speak hope into your community. Demons hate when chosen ones shift from personal battles to corporate impact. Because the moment your authority begins to liberate others, darkness loses territory. Chosen one, step fully into this reality. You are not just carrying hidden fire. Anymore, you are walking in sacred authority. Demons cannot touch you because they know when you open your mouth, heaven speaks. They know when you lift your hands, chains fall. They know when you step forward, strongholds crumble. You are not a victim of spiritual warfare. You are a warrior, clothed in divine authority. And the more you embrace this truth, the more unstoppable you become. Demons don't just fear what's inside you. They fear what happens when you release it. They fear when you pray, when you declare, when you move in faith. Because your authority is not just for you. It shifts nations, generations, and a TMOS, PHERES. So do not shrink back. Do not hide your voice. Do not let fear silence your authority. You were chosen for this. And every time you step into your authority, heaven rejoices and hell trembles. That is the power of your divine calling, chosen one. And it is only the beginning of what God intends to do through you. Chosen one, everything you've walked through, every battle you've fought, every tear you've cried, has been leading you to this moment. The revelation of your true identity and the fullness of your divine calling. By now, you must see clearly. You were never ordinary. You were never meant to blend in, to fit quietly into a system of conformity, to live unnoticed in the background of life. You were chosen, marked, and set apart from the beginning. And it is precisely this calling that demons fear. Demons don't fear your past. They don't fear your mistakes. They don't even fear your natural talents. What terrifies them is the divine blueprint inside of you, the holy assignment woven into your very being. They fear the moment you awaken and realize what you carry, because once you know, truly know, that the Spirit of God lives within you, you become unstoppable. They can harass you, distract you, try to silence you, but they cannot defeat you. Why? Because chosen ones do not fight alone. The God who called you fights through you. You've probably wondered why the attacks on your life have been so relentless, why others live casually, yet you've faced storms that should have destroyed you. Why betrayal seems to follow you, why rejection cuts so deep, why you often feel like the odd one out, even in circles where you should belong. Chosen. 1. Those attacks were never random. They were targeted strategies designed to crush your spirit before you realized who you are. The enemy saw your light long before you did. He recognized your assignment before you understood it, and every attempt to break you was rooted in one desperate goal: to stop you from stepping into your calling. But look at you, you're still standing, still breathing, still here, and that is proof of your authority. Every attack that failed is testimony of your resilience. Every trap you escaped is evidence of God's hand. Every season you thought would kill you but didn't is confirmation that hell itself could not override heaven's decree over your life. The fact that you are alive, listening, and awakening is proof that your assignment is too powerful to be stopped. And now, chosen. 1. The time has come for you to embrace it fully. No more shrinking back. No more doubting yourself. No more apologizing for your light. Demons don't fear hesitation, they fear boldness. They don't fear confusion, they fear clarity. They don't fear weakness, they fear the moment. You realize that in your weakness, God's strength is perfected, and that moment is now. Your calling is not just personal, it is generational. What you carry inside of you will not only change your life, but ripple into the lives of countless others. Demons understand this better than many chosen ones do. They know that if you rise, entire families will be freed. Communities will be transformed. Cycles of bondage will be broken. This is why your warfare has always felt heavier than others. You're not just carrying your destiny, you're carrying the destinies of those connected to you. Think about it. How many people around you are lost in darkness, yet when they're near you, they feel peace? How many have been comforted by your words, even when you didn't realize you were speaking life? How many look to you for guidance without even knowing why? That's not random. That's the divine calling manifesting. And this is why you must rise. But rising requires choice. Being chosen does not mean it will automatically happen. You must align yourself with the one who chose you. You must embrace discipline, surrender, and faith. You must silence the lies that tell you you're unworthy, incapable, or alone. Demons thrive on those lies because they know if you believe them, you'll disqualify yourself from stepping into what is already yours. But chosen one, today the lies are broken. Today the truth takes root. You are called, you are equipped, and you are unstoppable. So what happens now? You begin to walk differently, pray differently, live differently. You no longer second guess your authority. You no longer dim your light to make others comfortable. You no longer accept environments that drain your spirit. You understand that carrying divine calling means protecting your fire. You say no when needed. You stand firm when others waver. You hold the line when the world pushes against you. And most importantly, you release what's inside you. Your words are not meant to stay silent. Your gifts are not meant to stay hidden. Your vision is not meant to stay buried. The glory within you was meant to shine outward. Every time you pray, you release light. Every time you speak truth, you release power. Every time you walk in obedience, you advance heaven's kingdom. Demons fear this because it means their grip on people, places, and systems gets weaker the more you operate in your calling. Do not underestimate yourself. Heaven's armies back you. Angels are assigned to you. The Spirit of God empowers you. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The cross already secured it. Your task is simply to live it out, to walk in it, to embody it. And here is the final truth. Demons will always fear chosen ones, but they cannot stop them. They can try to delay you, discourage you, distract you, but they cannot cancel what God ordained. And when you step boldly into your calling, their power over your life collapses. You become the nightmare they cannot escape, the light they cannot extinguish, the voice they cannot silence. Chosen one, rise. Step into your divine calling with fire in your spirit and authority in your voice. The world is waiting for what you carry. Heaven is cheering for you. Hell is terrified of you. And God is walking with you. This is your moment. This is your destiny. This is your calling. And nothing in existence can stop it. Chosen one, if this message stirred something deep within you, if you know in your spirit that God is calling you higher, don't let it fade. This is your sign to rise, to embrace your divine calling with boldness. Subscribe right now so you never miss another word meant to fuel your spirit, because this journey isn't over. Share this with another chosen one who needs the reminder that they are not alone, and drop a comment with "I'm chosen" to declare it into the atmosphere. Heaven has marked you, hell fears you, and your time is now.